Hey guys, welcome to another Northern Monkeys video. This one's a continuation in the series of Does This Tech Work? This time we're looking at the new suppressors with their points drop and their cool guns, and let's just talk about how to use this unit and why I think it's pretty decent in the Marine Codex. So, suppressors. What's really good about these guys is essentially in the prior Nexus update, they went down 10 points to just a mere 75 points for the squad, and the Assault Intercessors went up 10 points. So there's now like a 20-point difference between the two, maybe more. And the reason that is big is because even though you get more value, like per model, out of the Assault Intercessor with Jump Pack squad, because there's 5 of them in the squad, this squad, they're just cheaper as a whole. And really, like, what you want these units to be doing is just dropping down or moving up from your deployment zone, whatever. They're infantry with fly. They can basically go wherever they want and deep strike. And just scoring those objectives, like establish locus behind enemy lines, things like that. So that's really what they're good for. That's like their nice little thing that you get out of them. And for only 75 points, you can have a squad of these guys to do that. So that's kind of why I think that they're good now. Is just that cheapness and that deep strike ability is really nice. Now, one thing that I'd say is kind of working against them is that they are relatively like squishy. There's only 3 of them, like I said, toughness 4, 3 up save. They're just a marine body basically, so they can die very fast. So you're not going to be able to get them to do stuff like sabotage, where they have to survive for a whole round. That's not going to work. But like I said, they can't do everything. They're only 75 points. And they actually also, if they're doing stuff like engage on all fronts or behind enemy lines where they don't have to do an action when they come in, they have actually got this suppression fire ability, which is really good. Basically, you pick a unit that they shot, and that is -1 to hit until your next turn. Now, interestingly, it's while this unit is on the battlefield. So I guess if these guys die, it kind of unlocks the what is it? Unlocks the enemy unit to stop them being suppressed. So there is that counterplay for opponents there. But they've got a really long range on the guns, so they can do that from relative safety. And does your opponent want to have to be shooting these guys, especially when they can drop smoke, especially if they shoot at it with the unit that the squad's just suppressed, then like good, you basically took it out of the shooting phase to kill a 75-point unit. So that's really good. I think they're a solid unit, and this suppression fire, subtract 1 from the hit roll, it just works on all sorts of things that are in the meta, like Tau and Guard. All of a sudden they can be, instead of hitting on 3s with their spotters or their orders, they're hitting on 4s again, or they're even hitting on 5s if they don't have any of that. It's just a really good ability on a really cheap unit that also has great utility. Now, talking about their actual sort of data sheet, not their abilities, they do have pretty decent guns. They've gotten better since last edition. They're basically strength 8 now instead of strength 7. The same sort of mechanics for them hitting works like it did last time. But they've got 3 shots. They hit on 4s with heavy, so they can be hitting on 3s if they sit still, which sometimes they do. You never know. And so they could get to hitting on 3s. Strength 8, only AP 1, but they are 2 damage. So you can kill Marines and stuff like that pretty well. They'll always chip shots off things. And I even had in a game, I got quite lucky. They did about 6 damage to a Lehman Russ in a single turn, just off a good volley of shots. It happens from time to time. And don't forget, these guys are still Marines in combat, so they could punch a 5-man squad of like acolytes or whatever it is that GSC have. Little 1 wound T3 bodies. They've still got a lot of attacks to go into them. So yeah, they're pretty good for that. And they have the smoke keyword, don't forget. So you can potentially like stacking -2 to hit onto opponents. So even if they've got some kind of a bonus to hit, you can be -2 to hit. It gives them cover, so the save's a little better. That's really nice. And then move 12, because even though they're weird, these guys have like spring boots on their models. It's very funny. So they move 12, they're really fast. And that's great for just like nipping around the battlefield. They can do another action somewhere else if they need to, or get a long bomb charge off where your opponent might not expect it, and all of a sudden like tie a vehicle up. So that's what's really cool with them. They just do what they need to do, and for 75 points, it's great stats all around. And the unit, just has that great utility that I think Marines, like even with scouts and things like that, you still need a deep striking unit, and you don't necessarily want to be playing the close to 100 points that you have to for assault intercessors with jump packs. So just a final section to talk about why one of the reasons I don't think these guys have seen so much is because you can't buy them. Like right now, you could go up to Games Workshop with whatever amount of money. You could have £1,000 and be like, please, I'll take some suppressors, I'll give you £1,000, and they'll just go, no can do, mate. Because so originally when these guys came out, they were part of this, I think it's called Shadow War or something like that, and it was a joint box where the new Phobos Marines came out in these monopose kits, and they came out with this set, and it was like, you know, Chaos Space Marines with like new obliterators and a Venom Crawler or something versus these guys, the Phobos Marines, and you got like a Phobos Lieutenant and Phobos Soldiers, and the Suppressors were in there as well. It's kind of the point I'm making. They were all part of this Phobos army. Now, this then became like the Space Marines start collecting. Before they settled on Combat Patrol, Games Workshop was doing start collectings, which were just like a jumble of units. They weren't very good, to be honest. I always thought they were like really poor in terms of value and like what models you got in them compared to the old sort of start collecting sets that used to come with more like full armies to encourage people into the hobby. Now, these guys were in this squad, they're in the start collecting. So I got my guys that you can see here. I bought this Phobos start collecting box and then sold everything else in it. Like literally, I don't own any of the models in it. I just have the suppressors from it. And I mean, it ended up being good because I got my suppressors for like a fiver after spending some time putting stuff on eBay. So that was fine. Now they're in that start collecting set. Then there was a combat patrol that's sort of came out that was like this Space Marine Phobos combat patrol that had like a the Primaris transport tank in it anyway, had that in it. And then it was like now on the GW website there is the Vanguard Task Force, which has like the Phobos Librarian in it and stuff, and it's got rules on the 40k app if you want to look it up. You can see their rules in there for this Vanguard Task Force. However, not only is it just not on sale, it hasn't been for months. You can't get them outside of this like set, and then they don't even sell that set. So these guys are just permanently locked away. And not only that, they come with absolutely terrible flying stands that kind of vaguely clip to like the bottom of their backpack and break as soon as you look at them. They're just useless. You know, it's that sort of clear plastic that fogs up if you use super glue on it, but you can't not use super glue on it. You have to use PVA, but obviously that takes forever to set, and the way that they attach. But if anyone's dealt with this kit, it's terrible. Like the models themselves, I quite like the look of them. I put some alternate helmets on them to differentiate them a bit, but yeah, the models themselves are cool, but those flying stands are just awful. Now, there's a video called by Eons of Battle. It's a great channel for hobby stuff like this. I'll try and remember to link it down below. I sort of followed that loosely and created these like ruined bases that fit with the rest of my Space Marine scheme. So you pin the feet into them and it's a lot better. That's just my like plea to the community is to do this. To if you want to use suppressors, which I think you should be doing for all the reasons in the video, just yeah, check them out, try and find them. Maybe you can get them on eBay or something like that, but GW sure as hell won't sell you them. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you can be bothered. And if you want to see more of this content, let me know about any other weird little tech choices you guys have been trying out, and I'll endeavour to review them if I think they're pretty good. I've used suppressors myself. I think they're great. So give them a try. Thanks for watching. Bye.